Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's OpenxAI AMA with Ashton. Ashton is up, Paulus is up, Ryan's up, Nose is here. If you guys could throw some emojis up so I know my mic is on. Perfect. So before we get started, just a reminder as always, if you would like to jump up and speak at the end, just request the mic and I'll bring you up. If you're not comfortable speaking and you want to have your questions answered, just go to our bio. Our links are there for Discord and Telegram. You can drop your questions there, and one of the wonderful ambassadors or myself will bring it up for you. So in this case, let's get everything started. Welcome, Ashton.
Hi guys, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing good, thank you. So I think we will wait for a couple of minutes maybe for
Yeah, wait
our
for some more people to join.
yeah, and then we can start. Let's wait for a minute.
Guys, you could share the EMA link on your profiles so everybody could listen on this week news. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. I'm seeing more people join up. That's great to see.
Awesome. I guess let's start. So as usual, structure of this AMA, we go through some industry updates from OpenxAI, and then go into community questions. All right, so I'll go with some updates from the not just from within the from the OpenxAI perspective, but also like the industry. So, like a high level, I think AI kind of in the bubble territory, and then the bubble territory now shifting towards to more finding more cracks. So, which means the idea of the big the mega seven. The mega seven refer to the large companies who consist of S&P 500, represent AI industries. They represent the majority of the S&P 500 gains in the last 2 years. So now we are seeing some sort of a cracks across different players, because the issue that we always have to understand the how they maintain their revenue, and also their valuations, because often these valuations in Wall Street terms, like how much revenue you make or expected revenue, like PE ratios to the valuation of the company, and how many debts that you have as an organization, what's the future potential cash flows, and etc. The idea of these large mega corporations like Google, Facebook, Nvidia, OpenAI, Oracle. So these guys being kind of piggybacking each other, or like trust me, bro types of arrangements. But also like they also like do recycling of their finances, in order to keep their in order to keep the in order to keep the analyst happy. So that's how for many months they managed to keep up with a good healthy growth in the AI sector, especially justifying the spending in infrastructures, spending on acquiring companies and etc. So I think that started. It will start cracking for sure. When that gonna start, I'm not sure. Maybe current Iran conflict might trigger. some maybe something that possibly can trigger certain things, right? Because when you have large expectation in terms of growth and revenue, and then the banks are looking to for a payout, like payments for the debts, because usually these corporations, they use sometimes they use their own cash, but they also take debt to expansion, right? So when the future cash flows are kind of like slowing down, because there are things that you can push, but at the same time, like you need to bring additional innovation to keep the industry going. But the LLM era is which most of the current the growth is being built on, is reaching into a peak right now. So I think we are going to see a shift soon, because now LLM era is going to over. Like most of revenue today is come from the LLMs, uh, and that's about to shift. So we need to think about a kind of like a two direction here. One is, so the recycling finance. So let's call it that term. So recycling finance within AI corporations, what they do, they just committing each other. Hey, I'll buy you $100 billion worth of hardware from you. Can you invest in my company, or can you buy this subscription service and make a commitment for the next 2 years? So it will add to my balance sheet. So my stock can go up. I'll do the same for you. It's they basically, sharing some of the finance to leverage each other. So this is what's been happening for the last 2 years. Um, and in order for them to grow further, LLM is no longer be able to scale. So I think the revenue wise, the expected revenue across all the AI companies, large AI companies, it's expected, they're expecting around 700 billion to 800 billion. However, the current revenue, it's around 60 billion right now. So it's not even break even at the moment, which means what will happen. This is where I think it's interesting. It's going to be very interesting to us, and also interesting to the AI agent economy, because now it's like all these corporations, because they don't want to go into a recession, or they don't want to slow down their economy. They want to maintain, right? So they need to have a future potential and future gains. And I think what they will do, the next big thing in their backyard, is the AI agent narrative. So this is where I think, because they are going to be struggling a lot with their current LLM models and LLM business model, what um, they will be pushing a lot with AI agents, because like the AI agent, it's no longer like talking, it's about doing things and acting things. So that has a lot more potential. And what I think the direction going to be, so there's two direction, right? So the one direction would be, they will do recycle financing. They just try to kind of like do business each other, and try to jack up their like the balance sheet, so they can keep going until the music stop. So that's the first direction. The second direction is they just slowly pivoting, and then introducing additional products and services around AI, especially agentic AI space, and they're just going to keep growing, so they can raise more funds, they can bring more customers, we can push the risk a little bit for the future, right? Instead of AI bubble is going to burst, they can say, oh, no, 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 it's not going to burst now, because we are having something new called AI agents. And I think most likely they will choose the second path, which is they are going to push really hard with AI agents, which means um, when they push like large 7 to 8 companies in the world pushing AI narrative, especially AI agent narrative, everybody gonna heard about, everybody gonna get familiar with AI agent narrative. Like some of you, like you guys heard about, AI agents, but do you really understand what is AI agent means? I think a lot of people don't even know what the hell is AI agent. I mean, they might be thinking it's just like a maybe agent from like a Matrix, or it's just a robot. Like people have no idea. So AI agents are very early. So I think what would happen for these large corporations, for them, it's all about survival, right? Survival, positioning, and Wall Street narratives. So therefore, when they are in a really like a hot seat, that how to answer questions like how to grow 50%, 100% next 2 to 3 years, LLM is not going to cut it for them. The only solution that they have, only viable solution, in my opinion, it's all about like fine tune LLM models or micro LLM models, and also focusing heavy on agentic AI world. So I think that has a lot more potential. The reason why I'm saying this, um, I think there will be a massive integration will happen, especially in the enterprise applications. Uh, it will feature the task-specific AI agents by end of 2026. So that's basically like covering like 40% of integration for the AI agents, like enterprise applications integrating AI agents. So that will be the first thing. So there will be lots of integrations to Google products, especially Google Docs, Gmail, Google Calendar, any analytics platform being used, and then the other services like Microsoft, especially Microsoft applications, Microsoft products. They're going to start integrating lots of AI agents within their own ecosystems, and then from like enterprise business applications, especially like CRM applications, accounting applications, analytics applications, marketing applications, marketing automation applications, um, communication tools like productivity tools, Slack, those kind of communication platforms, applications like Monday.com, very popular applications, enterprise applications will have AI agents will integrate. So I think, my prediction towards the end of the year, like enterprise applications will have AI agents capabilities or compatibility towards the end of the year. That is probably like more than 2,000% increase in terms of AI agents flooding enterprise application space. I think this is what would happen this year, and the idea of the AI generalist. So AI generalist as a service would be a really key thing in these enterprise AI agent industries, because the role of AI generalist, so that's going to merge to overseas, like to look after agents, because imagine you've got a bunch of agents who are able to like accomplish tasks. So let's define like the difference between LLM and agent, so you guys can understand. So LLM, you have to, like, you familiar with LLMs, you can just have to write a prompt, and it gives you answers. So every time you need to ask a question, whenever you ask a question, basically gives you some answers back to you. But you won't be able to accomplish a task. The cool thing about an agent can basically do reasoning. So if you say to an agent, "Hey, can you build me Facebook's type of a website for me?" Right? The first thing agent going to know, okay, what agent's going to do? Agent going to research what is Facebook, because agent may not have idea of a Facebook. The agent going to start researching about the Facebook as a terminology, what is the technology, history, why Facebook is popular, all sorts of things, and then gain a really deeper knowledge about Facebook. And then okay, then the second step is, okay, so now I need to build a Facebook type of a website. What's the most efficient and most secure and most highly efficient way to build a website like that? And then start learning or using the tools to actually compile things. And then it could also test things to make sure it actually works. So the difference between LLM and an agent can accomplish tasks, and LLM can answer questions for you. It's like talking. So that's the big difference. So what will happen when you have specialized agents, whether specialized or trained for specific goal? Um, so whether it's a software development, accounting, admin, marketing, content writing, take like a typical organization or a startup. You've got bunch of team members specialized for different things. Same way, agents will be specialized and trained for the different purposes. Now then, but who's gonna manage those agents? So typically in a startup, you have a founder or you have a CEO who manage the team, or a project manager manages the team. Project manager understands that, okay, so we need to go this direction, so we need to achieve XYZ milestones, and we have X number of budget. So let me break it down, and then I'm going to assign tasks for individual employees or the contractors, and I'm going to make sure these employees or contractors get their work done, and I'm going to report what they have accomplished, and making sure we are hitting the goals and targets that we wanted to hit. And my job as a project manager or a CEO is to bring the team into North Star, that we also um, go through a certain pivot points if you need to adjust the course, but eventually get to a point where we whatever defined success we're going to achieve, it's going to achieve there. So I think the idea that the agent world it will function the same. So there will be some hierarchy within the agents, because agents have to look after each other, and making sure agents will be accountable. So the idea of super agents, or if you want to call it like super agents, or if you want to call it the like a project manager or someone who's senior, who's gonna manage the rest of the agents, right? So I think that's where things will get very, very interesting. It can be dangerous, but it's can be very interesting, especially in the enterprise world and the business world, because right now we are spending so much resources on things may not even worth spending on. So having agents can improve the productivity across many multiple verticals, especially in the business context, in a business sense, because a lot of companies, they're looking for ROI, they're looking for growth, they're looking for to cut costs. So I think it's a really strong value proposition. If Google and Microsoft and other companies can offer maybe a 10x innovation and 10x cost reduction for startups and companies, is a great business model for them, right? They're going to offer like agents as a service for, let's say, $300 a month. They would even charge like $2,000 a month for a business package with let's say 20 agents, right? So you can turn the agent to any format that you like, whether you want to name your agent to be a software developer in a particular language like Solidity, and you train the agent, and then you have a Solidity employee or Solidity smart contract developer in your team, but it's an agent, not a human, right? So it's like Upwork or freelancer.com, but those individuals can be you might be able to hire like a penny of the dollar. So pennies of a dollar. So the idea here that like an agent as a service, and being able to have agents, that super agents, to operate seamlessly across different different industries and different verticals, different platforms, different browsers, different devices. So you have to also understand, like we use multiple interfaces, right? So how these agents gonna to work together. I think that's where the next big thing in the AI space. So I think the bubble itself, they just probably want to keep pushing the bubble, not to burst the bubble, because a lot of these companies fully aware about their situation right now. I think this is where they're going to push the idea, and you start seeing some of the early push from these organizations. So why this is important to us? For us is like when large corporations pushing and putting like billions of dollars in terms of mind share, in terms of marketing to make people aware about these services and new innovation. It's like our positioning now, how we offer agents as a service, how we offer our technologies. We already have a really good advantage when these large corporations are pushing for narratives. We already have a product, and technology is already will be available. So uh, imagine LLMs is very early. When you first heard about ChatGPT in 2020 2023, imagine we are also launching a cheaper and more efficient LLM at the same time. Imagine like we built a LLM since 2000, let's say 2021, and then we are ready in 2023. It may not be sexy like OpenAI LLM, but we built something maybe cheaper, affordable, and more flexible in terms of capabilities, and we keep everything open source, right? Imagine if we were in that position, when OpenAI started pushing LLMs, and the experience for users to experience AI technologies, is that it would have been a perfect time to have our version of LLM that is kind of a different, because we automatically get the market network effect to us. Obviously, we don't have billions of dollars of budget to spend in marketing, but when large corporations are pushing the narratives, it also helps us to position ourselves. So I think we are betting a lot in the AI agent space. Our platform, our studio, and also the launch that we are going to launch, that we're launching soon. I've been talking about for quite some times now. The launch that we're launching, it will be primary focus on the AI agents, whether agents in a crypto form or agents are in a more Web2 form. We will be supporting both, which means if agents if agents are living and breathing outside of OpenxAI ecosystem, want to communicate with our V10 platform and the ecosystem, there will be compatibility. There will be backend API compatibility, that compatibilities there where agents can communicate and utilize our services. And if they want to make payments, so our platform will be compatible with X402 types of protocols. So agents can make payments, agents can basically do monetization related activities through our platform. Vice versa, our agent, like if you have an agent through OpenxAI and your agent needs to communicate with an agent outside of OpenxAI, you'll be able to do that, because when you use a standard protocol like X402, the interoperability and composability across different platforms will be seamless, which means if you launch an agent on OpenxAI, as long as the other agent has the same standard, like X402 standard, your agent and the other agent in the other ecosystem, whether it's a Solana or base ecosystem, you'll be able to interact with it regardless of the chain. So these are really cool things that we never had that before. And I think the difference between a lot of people get confused the agent versus like MCP, the Model Context Protocol. What we will be doing, we are not just building like agent workflows, we are building like proper agents. And agents as a service going to be a big narrative for OpenxAI for 2026. And also another concept will be the micro LLM as a service, because you don't need to have a large language model to address like specific things that you want in a day-to-day basis. Whether you want to run like a blog for you want the LLM to generate like bunch of software code for you. So, but you don't need like a large parameters. You can have like a micro LLM running on a cheap computer or a cheap cloud, or you can just running in a cheap hardware. So you can bring the cost down, because we are the underdog in this space. So which means when we offer a better affordable options, it will be like a DeepSeek moment. Like DeepSeek moment was one of a greatest, I would say, success in the AI space. So DeepSeek launched like 2024, but it became a really big thing in 2025, specifically January 2025, because the DeepSeek basically brought the whole like OpenAI LLM model. They basically disrupted the traditional LLM industry. OpenAI LLM, DeepSeek basically said, listen, you don't need that expensive LLM to actually achieve better results. And DeepSeek became the underdog, and the entire world basically started experimenting DeepSeek. That was a really, I would say, interesting moment, because you have a Western very expensive LLM, and then you have a Chinese highly optimized software optimized LLM that probably better in terms of some of the capabilities. It became a really big thing at that time. Of course, DeepSeek was a very small startup out of China and heavy in research, but it took off. And I think for us, there are specific things that I think will be very interesting to experiment when the AI agent becoming like mainstream within next coming months. How are we going to position ourselves and offer like specific tools and specific capabilities that that builders and developers and entrepreneurs and people in the ecosystem will appreciate and will recognize as a really cool thing. Because for us, it's not just a private, highly optimized agents. We also provide this sovereignty, the sovereign AI, which is very important to mitigate the geopolitical risk. That's going to be an important part, right? So our key value proposition is to have having the least amount of geopolitical risks. So the more nations and brands are developing like a sovereign AI systems to keep their data, models, and computing power within their borders. I think for us, like a sovereign AI as a service, sovereign agents as a service is going to be a big concept. So if you want to keep everything locally, you can do that. If you want to host things in a different regions, then you can do that as well. As long as you can protect your data by securing it, you are in control. And that's precisely what OpenxAI offer, because every container, when I say container, the Docker container, every compute instance that you're hosting and running, or when you're running it locally, or when you're running on our network, you're able to encrypt your entire software stack. You encrypt the entire data. You're encrypting the entire AI infrastructure with your wallet, and you make sure your wallet is the is the username and password. Instead of having like a typical Web2 security, you're leveraging Web3 security. And same way how you treat your crypto, like your crypto is your keys is your crypto. In the case of OpenxAI, your keys will be your data, your keys will be your AI, your keys will be your agents, which means I think there will be a strong value proposition. And our integrations with our Web3 wallets, we will also hook up to like a uh, traditional traditional logging systems like Google and Facebook. So which means if you have Facebook account or Google account, you might be able to set up your account, but essentially on the back end, it represent a wallet for you because your wallet will be your primary key. So you have a two-step kind of onboarding process, but your if you don't have a wallet, if you're not familiar with Web3, you can instantly get into the platform, V10 platform, and become a user. But on the back end, the user, the email address attached to a newly created wallet, um, and there's other technologies we're going to be offering and working. And I think people will see appreciation like the privacy and the price, because price is going to be a really key factor. And the second factor going to be privacy, which we're going to be prioritizing a lot. And the performance. The performance, of course, there will be some specific performance benchmarks. We're going to prioritize things that matters to us, things that matters to developers and other specific individuals that who are in the AI space. Because if those people really care about the industry, and if we build technologies and the benchmarks are meeting their expectation, that's we are doing a good job, right? So if I were to give an example, um, so we might be going to a pizza shop and we may not be expert in pizza, but we just go and enjoy. But imagine there are like pizza experts that who specialize knows about how to rate pizza. They go to a pizza shop and they just do the rating. And if we are opening a pizza shop, if we can satisfy those like the experts who specialize in pizzas, and if they rank us as a good pizza shop, then we've done a good job, right? So then anyone who's coming to our pizza shop will be able to enjoy, because we know for sure we actually meet the highest rating by the experts on the industry. So that's why there will be some specific benchmarks we're going to prioritize um, in terms of the technologies, the capabilities, and specific performance benchmarks that we will prioritize. So once the platform is up and running, and when we start scaling with our user base, we will bring those performance metrics, specifically things like the time to ready and deployment velocity types of metrics. And we bring those metrics, and we will start bringing those metrics to academic space, because I think the academic space, in the AI's academic space, they love to critique those types of innovation. Our goal is to get those academic space cited, those benchmarks. Then we'll be able to grow really faster, because there's a two directions we can take. One direction is spend like billions of dollars, uh, if not millions of dollars, in advertising and try to build a brand. Or you go the other way, which you just basically showcase some unique value proposition, and you go to the extreme on that side, and making sure academics and professionals in the space, they will find it, the technology is superior according to their expectation, and they can validate because our code is open source. They can take it the way they want it. It's nothing proprietary, and then they can test it and they can validate. So they can independently validate the benchmark who we will be publishing. They will use that to basically cite and talk to other people. They can say, you know what, I found this great open source service or open source project called OpenxAI, And they publish some benchmarks. It seems like these benchmarks are really, really important for AI agents or AI sovereignty agents or privacy of the agents. uh, and I ran it myself as well. It seems really cool. They need to improve XYZ, but I'm overall happy. That person might be citing something on their thesis or maybe publishing a paper out of it. So these are the early things that we'll be prioritizing once the platform is ready. That helps us to bring authenticity but also validation. Soon as those computer science community, AI experts, and the academia in the space start like giving their blessing to us, then we are in a better position to start pushing. And that's the time I would say we start putting more efforts into marketing push and accelerating the growth. So that's kind of like a high level plan that we have. But like the short term thing is to prioritize the product, improve the product, making sure the product is good, and be ready for agent economy and agent verse.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Ashton. I did kind of want to bring something up just for a little bit of fun. So you were talking about like a pizza AI agent, and you were talking about super agents. I wonder how much fun it would be to pit certain franchises against each other. So, for example, I'm hangry. I want a burger. Maybe I want pizza. Maybe I want Taco Bell. Maybe I want chicken from Chick-fil-A or some other place or whatever. Uh, Pitting four AI agents against each other, if they're super AI agents, how do you think that might turn out when it comes to the idea of them going, we have the best cost, we have the best promotion deal, we have the best food, et cetera, et cetera? And like I said, just for a fun theoretical thought.
Yeah, I think a lot of these, like our team is better, we have the better way to do things. Those benchmarks probably can be defined uh, by the ultimately uh, by the owners of these agents, right? Like super agents are specifically designed to optimize the workload based on expectations set by the owner or the set by the teams who owns it, right? I think the idea that as long as you can give a clear direction to the super agent or the boss of the agent, uh, then that agent will basically break down that expectation. As long as the human is very clear about the direction and the expectation and the KPIs, then the super agent will be able to break it down and then basically work with the other agents to accomplish a task that's needed. And I'm sure, look, this is not going to be perfect, especially we are in early stage, right? So we don't even have agent economy yet. Like I was reading a really good terminology. Like we have GDP, which basically that humans produce by country. But imagine like an agent creating economy like a GDP, agentic GDP. So right now it's like less than $1 billion, less than $1 billion. And I think it will be in trillions in few years. So which means we are like not even early, like it's like an innovator stage right now. We are not even in early adoption stage. We are like an innovator phase, the agentic side. And I think that's why it's going to be a very interesting this year and next year.
I completely agree. And that's why I love little theoretical thoughts on certain things when it comes to the AI agents, especially when you just think out of the box. And you're right. We are in innovation. Deployments and adoption are going to come, well, very quickly after that. So we're going to move next to Sami to speak. So, Sami, the mic is yours. Oh, we may be having some technical difficulties. 1 second here. Okay, Sami's actually having some issues with the mic and hearing, so we're going to give 1 second there, and they'll jump out and jump back in.
In the meantime, I would like to ask a question for Ashton. So, could you, Ashton, provide some teaser probably from V10? Will it be any possibility for community to interact with the platform? I'm pretty sure that developers have plenty on the plate out there, but maybe community as well could interact with the platform and what functionalities it may be.
Yeah, I can ask Sam and the Dutch team to basically to see if we can give you guys like an early beta version. Like you guys saw the platform, and there will be stages how each features will be introduced, and of course, we might change some of the features on the go. Yeah, happy to organize that, but I'm not sure exact date. Like the especially like right now we're focusing heavily on the new upcoming launch. That launch has specific features that we will be included onto onto V10. So yeah, so if they said they wanna give you guys an early access, yeah, we'd love to give you.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Paulius. So Sami is actually back. If you want to jump up and open your mic, you are good to go.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, host. Good evening, Austin. Good evening, all listeners. Sumi here. So, Austin, thank you very much for giving us that insight on AI agents. I think this particular topic is very interesting because every time I listen to you say more about this AI agent, it just piques my interest more and more. So I really want to dig in on this particular concept because I believe probably maybe when you create an AI agent, you're assigning it a task. Okay, AI agent, I want you to do this particular task. But it will get to a particular point in time where you like want that agent to do more tasks other than what you originally created it to do. And you start assigning it more tasks for that agent to complete or execute. But when you actually look at it, the more tasks that that agent gets to do, the more points of failure that that agent um, kind of encounter. So when you are now looking at this, does it actually get to a particular point in time? Maybe when you are assigning that agent a lot of tasks, does it get to a point in time where it goes, beyond the human complexity? So that is actually my question. I've been thinking about this since you started this whole conversation about agent. So how do how does like one like kind of like attend to this particular thing in this particular scenario? So I would like to hear that from you. And when it gets to that particular point of where it goes beyond the human oversight, where humans cannot actually um review that complexity because of a lot of tasks set up in that order, does it have any kind of consequence?
Okay. So like I think the evolvement happening now, like AI kind of evolving into like autonomous agents that can plan, reason, execute like multi-step tasks with a minimal human input, right? That's the value proposition of AI agents. So it's not just it's not only able to plan but reason, but also execute multi-step tasks. Um, I think like sometimes some of the steps that we think right now is maybe important may not be important in the future. Like for example, like I'll give you like a maybe a little bit techie example, right? So when I was growing up, um, when you go to someone's house, or when you buy when you're moving into another house, you always have to, you always have to think about what kind of a connections you have in your house, whether it's an ADSL connection, or it's coming from a coaxial connection, or like a fiber optic cable, and what type of connection that you have, RJ45, RJ11, and then you have to think about buying a router, ADSL router, broadband router, and you have to think about lots of like the frequency, and then you have to think about the security, what kind of security that you want to set up for your Wi-Fi router. And then when you work with multi-device, you have to think about the multi-device. You have to set like parameters in order for you to which device can able to download at what time and what speed, and how to prevent any attacks from outside. So you need to configure your firewall settings on the router. I mean, this is a lot of complex stuff that people have to like kind of know, right? People have to kind of know, if you're the main person in the household, whether it's a father or mother or brother, whatever it is, you kind of have to know this. Otherwise, you have to get someone to do these things for you. But today, like when you go to a new house, or when you go to your friend's house, you just ask, hey, what's your Wi-Fi password? Sometimes you don't even ask for the password. You just basically share a QR code. A lot of advanced complex things that we thought, like when I was a teen, and when I was experiencing those, like concepts that at that time was very important, right? Knowing about the hardware configuration, what type of wireless security that I needed to set up, and what kind of bandwidth I need to set up, like all these things that I thought important at that time, now it doesn't matter anymore. I think this is what's going to be the case when it's come to enterprise applications, business processes, and like how to, because a lot of people kind of know how to get things done, how to build a website, how to achieve, let's say a really high quality thesis, or how to produce high quality blog. So the, or if there are multi-step tasks, you kind of know as a human. But with agents, you probably don't want to know a lot of things, because I think people will choose the convenience over like knowing everything. I mean, I'm sure there will be a lot of people who really want to know. I hate agents. Screw agents. I'm gonna be just me. I only deal with humans. It's going to be the case, right? So we have people, they don't have smartphones, they don't have internet, they're just basically living off the grid. I'm sure, but the majority of people will basically choose the convenience way. They're like, okay, I don't want to know. Don't tell me like how to get things done. Don't explain to me. I don't even need to know what kind of a code is writing behind the scene. Just give me the results, right? I don't need to know what's happening behind the scene. So a lot of enterprise applications, like the know like where the steps, which steps the agent took to achieve, I think will be somewhere hidden that people won't be able to see. Like people have no idea what's happening behind the scene. The same way when you go to a hotel, you expect as soon as you open the door, the light should be on. You don't have to know where the lights are coming, with which wiring. As soon as you press the button, it works for you. So I think this is going to be the case in the context of AI agents, and how AI agents deliver enterprise applications and innovation in the business context and business applications. I think most likely we will not we will have zero clue how an agent basically achieve these things. For us, it's like, oh, it's something happening behind the scene, but we don't know. But we got the results. I think this is what people will end it up with.
Okay, interesting, Aston, because from what you've said so far, I'm basically thinking that, okay, with more advancement comes more efficiency, because you're saying that right now innovation is being done, a lot of inventions have been done in the past, and based on these inventions being done in the past, some people like will come into the scene and take over that invention just to make life and just to make everything easier for everybody that is using that particular invention, because I think that is practically it. I mean, if you look at, the generation of computers, we started, like with the vacuum tubes, the transistors, and down to the current generation where we currently are using artificial intelligence. I think when you look at those particular generations, you see that a lot of things were being, initiated, a lot of startups were being done, and some people came into the scene and started actually making this whole technology better for everybody as a whole. And it's quite interesting now, narrowing it down to this this AI agent you're talking about. Probably maybe when somebody come up with something and assign it a particular task and say, okay, this particular agent has to be able to achieve this particular purpose. This is what I assigned it for. And another person, maybe probably 2 years after will come into the scene and say, okay, let me like carry on with this particular person. I have seen the inside, I've seen the foresight of where this particular person is going with this initiative, and the person jump into the scene and carry that thing towards the next direction. And obviously, with that particular step, it actually makes it easier as a whole for everybody to like kind of use that facility, kind of use that thing for more efficiency, for more good. Is literally what we are currently doing right now. Even in this our OpenxAI, some people I think we've created some apps where people can come into the studio, deploy their apps, and they don't really have to go into the whole ground work process of actually doing all those coding and everything. So I'm just seeing more efficiency based on what you said. And it's really nice. It's really nice seeing that. So I would just like, okay, I think that this is the understanding of what I got from you based on that point you said. Am I right, Austin?
Yeah, I think the good side is, of course, we are we are supporting evolution, because biology basically all about efficiency and just going in that direction. The sad side is, like, we are creating more Gen Z type of um the generations generate, like each generation that we are bringing technologies, we are making each generation more dumber, and each generation, like the attention span and critical thinking, we just like completely disabling those skills as a humans we must have. And I think this is the negative side about AI agents, because AI agent, in my opinion, I think it's gonna be one of the biggest innovation right after the smartphone. Like, we haven't had anything like profoundly impactful like the smartphone, because smartphones are today is basically you're everybody carrying a piece of glass in your pocket, but that piece of glass can basically connect you anybody in the world, and it can access any information that you want. You can push a button, a vehicle will appear at your house, and you can push a button and then food will be appear in your doorstep. This is like a magic wand that like probably kings and pharaohs used to have, these kind of a privilege. Now you have it in your pocket, and that was a huge, like a game changer for civilization. I think AI agents will be the same, if not more, kind of a huge shift. Now the problem, this is where I feel really responsible and also feel bad about these agents or the technology. Sometimes I'm even thinking like, are we doing the right thing here? Because agents will basically make people more dumber, and because the exact point that you mentioned, like, you want to know, hey, how the whole this process everything works. The very same way I wanted to know how routers need to be configured in 1990s, but now I don't even have to know any of that, even though I want to, but I don't given a chance to even think about those things. And I think with AI agents, a lot of people are thinking, okay, I want to build a really amazing software. Now I need to think how do I achieve a final product? Therefore, I have to like kind of a plan and think better and achieve that. Or I wanted to produce amazing music, or a movie, or I need to write a really amazing book. I need to think and plan, and I do in step by step. That's how we do. But agents will accomplish in multitasking, parallel processing, can achieve this quickly, which means the humans probably like, okay, I want this and I'm getting this. But how do I get this? I don't know. I don't need to know. For me, that's a bad thing. I think like civilization probably will get like more lazier and dumber. You know, we might reach to a point where it's like this movie. Wall-E, there's a cartoon, like a 3D movie, really, really good movie called Wall-E. In the Wall-E movies, robots and autonomous systems basically control the whole the ship, and people are basically being like humans being basically babysitted by these robots. And I think we are heading that direction, unfortunately.
Exactly, Austin. And I couldn't agree more with you because such things are kind of like detrimental to some of our human principles that we tend to like uphold, especially when you look at maybe hard work, like more research studies and everything. A lot of like developers, like, they would like to learn the groundwork of certain things like that, know how to come up with some of the fundamental principles. Because when you have such insight about the fundamental principles, that is how more knowledge have been layered, especially when you are going forward with that particular path and with that trajectory of that initiative that you hold so dear to like innovate, to create things, to build things. But like they always say, everything that has its advantages will always have its disadvantages. So you're definitely right on that. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that question.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sami and Ashton, for that. I'm always going to fall back on the idea of food since I love food. So uh, I do want an AI agent to do something for me like this. Very simple. I'm in the mood for hamburgers. Do I have the ingredients in my fridge? And then just have it be like, yep, you do. Or you're missing something and be like, you can go to this store. It's going to take you 5 minutes. Or I can suggest you this type of burger, which you have the ingredients for. Either way, I don't want any questions, comments on that. Mizan has asked to speak. So, Mizan, you can jump on the mic and you are good to go.
Hey, thanks. Sorry I joined a little late, but I just wanted to clarify, Ashton, to your point that you made earlier. When is that launch event that you're planning expected to be? I missed that whole section, sorry. So that's my first question. The second question is, as you might have noticed from the Telegram channel as well, there has been a sudden drop in the PA today, and which was attributed to KOLs claiming it. Could you please shed some light on how that entire KOL claiming process was managed? How does the team know about the different KOL wallet addresses, and how many such KOLs are still left? Because honestly, since I've been with OpenxAI, there have been 2 times when these KOLs have claimed, which led to like a huge drop in price. So to me, it seems like they probably were not the best supporters of the project. So I just want to understand like how many such KOLs are still left that could negatively impact the project. Thank you.
Sure. The first question about the launch. So we haven't given a date for the launch. It's a big launch, to be honest. It's not a V10 launch. We're gonna launch V10 with that product announcement. We're working on that. It will be a physical event and coordinating a lot of things. The second point. So I shared with ambassadors. Um, so this particular KOL, like he's a well-known individual in the space. He helped. Just to be clear, a lot of these KOLs, we didn't just give an allocation for KOLs for no reason, right? we didn't have any VC type of a approach, even though we could have chosen that path. So we basically ignored all the VCs and we bootstrapped the project. So KOLs basically supported our project between 1 to 5 Ethereum from each KOL. And this particular KOL, he didn't claim, like he was, either he forgot or he didn't claim in September. So September, and then there was a vesting period. Now, so he didn't claim anything until like a couple of days ago. I think yesterday or today he claimed. So he's the last KOL who basically didn't claim. And we spoke to him, and of course this is his token, right? So we cannot hold the tokens for him. So we just given to him, and he sold it, which is good. I think it's really good for us. Selling at this price, with meaning it's a really good, for especially for our buybacks, because when we looked at the buyback, uh, the tokens in circulation, because even though you might be able to see like 12 to 14% circulation supply, but we won't be able to acquire entire 14% because some of the tokens are on some people's hands, not in open market. So having more supply, it helps us to buy back as well. So when we were talking about buybacks, we couldn't even buy like 100 to 150K worth, uh, because we will be buying the entire supply. So it's more supplies in the market is good, so we could buy more. During the buyback, the OpenxAI Foundation will be able to acquire more. So this this event is a good thing in my opinion, and we have been communicating with pretty much all the KOLs from the beginning. This one is the last person.
Thanks, Ashton. Just a quick follow up on that. So, all these KOLs that have claimed it first and then sold it, or the ones even those who haven't sold it, do we expect them to still support the project once the market recovers, or was it like a one off thing? And since they have pretty much sold it, they don't care about the project anymore?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. I think like some KOLs, they never sold. They just claimed and then they're keeping it, because they know us. They are in the industry. They wanted to see the project grow. So the KOLs that we have supported, there's a two groups. One is like a mind share, and the others are basically they just came. They wanted to participate. We did vetted most of the KOLs. Um, and the answer to you, I think some KOLs are going to be working with us long term, because the launch that we're going to announce to them, they're going to be talking about that. So we are actively working with them to communicate. But overall, like some KOLs, basically they don't want to do anything with crypto, because some of them got liquidated. They've got leverage positions. They had leverage positions in October, November. They basically got liquidated. They don't even produce content anymore. So they're basically out of the industry. Some of them they basically disappeared.
Okay, thank you. Makes sense.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mizan, for that. Or Mizan. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. So Ryan's going to jump up and speak and bring up a couple of questions from the community. So Ryan, the mic is yours.
Hello, Aston, and hello, everyone. So for this week, we just have a couple of questions for you. First question is that will OpenX be delisted from the MXC platform because it has been added to the assessment zone, something like that. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, we communicated Maxi, and now we are out of that danger zone. That's been fixed.
Cool. That's a good news. So second one, it's related to the Cayman Island foundations. So has it been officially established and signed up?
So we are going with the full setup now, not just the Cayman Island Foundation. So there's a BVI entity, and then also Panama entity, and also the US entity. So US entity was being established, like established last year. So we are formulating the full package, which we can offer staking services, which we can offer like a trading capabilities with things like the futures. Can offer tokenized version of a digital version of physical goods. That's the scope right now. So we are building the full legal structure to facilitate and compensate upcoming milestones, because it makes sense with the lawyers that we are working with, because they some of them charge hourly, some of them charge basically based on the scope of work. For us, it makes sense to basically mm, just do everything all at once rather than just trying to do something later on. Um, yeah, so that's the stage right now. So we are finalizing everything all at once. So you have OpenxAI Trading Limited, you have OpenxAI Corporations, you've got OpenxAI Foundation, and OpenxAI Labs Inc., which is a Delaware entity. So there are 4 entities will be working together, which can facilitate a lot of innovation and announcements and launches in the next coming. So the legal setup that we are building just for the next 1.5 years.
Yeah, I have a personal question, a follow-up question on this one. Like the things we are doing with V10 version, does that have any impact with the foundation, or what we are like we are enhancing the scope of the foundation? So does it impact anyhow to the V10, or it's
No,
quite independent in that case?
no. V10 is basically, it doesn't have um, any capabilities for tokenization.
Mhm.
It doesn't have trading functions, because I mean, OpenxAI will be launching an exchange ourselves, right? Tokenized version of physical goods and assets. So that's need license. So that's the whole reason. I mean, when you guys say foundation, setting up a foundation, that will take like 2 weeks. That's not what we're building. We're building a legal structure in order to do things. Because when things are picking up, we don't want this to be blocker, because things are quiet now. So it's easier for us to take our time and making sure we do the right thing. Because when things are rush, like we don't want to make rush decisions. And also US, especially US laws is evolving. We're also waiting for some bills to pass, so we get more clarity. That's also a feedback, especially if you want to target like US markets, because US stable coins and institutional markets will enter into like um, into um, tokenized GPUs and tokenized compute space. We want to make sure that our products and services are institutional grade. It doesn't look like a meme coin, or someone just came up with something out of a garage.
Yeah, cool. I think those are some of the questions that was asked by the community. Over to you, Chris.
Just short to jump in, guys. Thanks, Ashton. Thanks, Chris, for another amazing Q&A session. Just friendly reminder for the community: see some new faces, couple of new faces. So don't forget to jump into our Discord and TG. Just shared the link to the servers upon this CMA post. So hope to see you there. Just not missing any important information.
Yeah.
Active
Can,
daily and looking forward to communicate with you there.
can I ask one last question, please, if time
Yes,
permits?
sure. Yes, sure.
Sorry, Ashton, you referred to the staking services, right? Do we have any preliminary idea on, what would be the APR, what APR looks like for a potential staking service, and is there any lock-in periods that would be there in scope?
So the basic function required, we call it proof of reserve. So in order for you to mint let's say, tokenized version of ERC20 or Solana version of the token, you need to have a minimum stake. So there's an algorithm that we have that if you want to mint, let's say, $100 worth of tokenized GPU, you need to put a specific staking requirements. Those staking requirements will come from stable coins and certain requirements from OpenxAI token. So those things will be built into the system and built into the matching engine of the trading protocol that we're going to be launching. So those APIs will depending on obviously depending on the there will be incentive for to begin with, so we can provide like a really juicy APIs. But for yield networks and yield generations, this is where we'll be working with like a wider yield networks and liquidity providers. So a lot of liquidity providers, they're looking for a minimum 12 to 14% yield. So as long as we can meet those minimum requirements, we'll be in a good position. So the yields will come out in USDT and our own tokens.
Thank you. Makes sense.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for all the questions, all the community engagement. Absolutely amazing. So, Ashton, do you have any final words? I have my final words, but I'll leave them till the end.
Sure. I think we're looking to expand our team. If you guys have any interest working with us, just DM me. We are expanding our team with a new launch. There will be some capital raise happening for the project as well. So I think Q1, Q2, it's all about expansion and making sure we attract the best talent. And if you guys interested in joining the team, and because this new launch has a lot of moving parts, we definitely need more help in hand. Yeah, just DM me, and we would love to talk to you.
Thank you for that, Ashton. Okay, so thank you to everyone in the community who showed up. Absolutely love this. It's always an amazing time. My final thoughts, just so everybody knows, is nobody steal my idea about an AI agent for fast food. Don't do it. Okay. Everyone take care. It was an awesome AMA. I'm looking forward to the next one. We'll see you there. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you, everyone. Have a good week.